What is going on, AZ Sports fans? How are we doing out here today on this beautiful Tuesday evening? We're here to go ahead and open it back up with the NFC West roundtable. Ladies and gentlemen, we had a fun-filled weekend where we had the Rams take on the Titans. We had the Arizona Cardinals take on the 49ers, and the Seahawks having an easy week because they had a bye week. But rumors are coming up that Russell Wilson might be a go coming around. So we have a lot to talk about here, ladies and gentlemen. But let's bring the guys that are the best to talk about their team. Let's bring my guy CG Ruthless Sports for the 49ers. We got my guy Sheriff Joe with the Rams here. Guys, how are you doing, CG? How's your day going so far?
Not that great, man. If you saw the video, man, it explains a lot, man. It's like I went all the way down there just to enjoy an embarrassment. What can I say?
That's fair. We'll definitely dive into a lot more. Appreciate your honesty. Joe, man, how do you feel? Just initial thoughts. Don't talk about the game, but how are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. It's a good day. I actually am one of the weirdos that absolutely loves when it's dark when I leave the office at 5 o'clock. So I'm feeling good, man.
Awesome. All right, man. Well, let's get started here. I'm very excited. Obviously, we like to go ahead and start off this roundtable by talking about the ugly, the good, and the bad of what we saw on our last week's game. So let's start off with, because we have two, people here with the same game. We're going to start off with my guy, Joe, in the Rams and the Sunday night football game. Rams versus Titans, man. Give us the bad, the good, and the ugly.
Well, definitely a good chunk of bad in this one, man. The Titans were able to beat up on the LA Rams. The final score was 28-16, and early on it was just, the Rams just seemed to have a hard time getting it going. And the Tennessee Titans, credit to the Tennessee Titans. I'm definitely not going to try to take anything away from them at all this week. They are a physical team. They play hard. They play rough, man. They're playing just that half second past every single whistle and getting after it. And you got to credit that front beating up on that offensive line, man. They were getting after Stafford all day long. And then that's definitely the bad. We got out physicaled in this game. And then the good would be coming out in the third quarter. We started to see what Sean McVay was doing the last few years with an offense under Jared Goff, and it was opening up a lot of different things for Stafford, and that's kind of why I was excited for Matthew Stafford to come be a Ram, is to see that offense with him in it instead of Jared Goff. And we were seeing some really nice passes. He's throwing it right in between four guys to hit Van Jefferson on a crosser and stuff. It was just beautiful. And then we went away from it right away again, and then started doing the straight drops, and then just struggled with it, man. But definitely credit to the Tennessee Titans. They came to play, and the Rams just weren't able to get it done. But ultimately, man, I think that the timing of it couldn't be better. It sucks that it was in prime time for sure, but the timing of having a game like that couldn't be better, because if our Rams coaches are as smart as we think they are, then they just put out the best game for tape that they will get all season, because we have so many different things that we saw. The offensive line was getting smoked early on. Then we saw the misdirection stuff come in the third quarter, and it was working, and then went away from it. So if our coaches can see that in the tape, then I feel good about what the rest of the season can bring. But ultimately, you don't want to be embarrassed like that on prime time, man. That was not fun to watch.
Yeah, and almost kind of similar to the way I felt. Obviously it took a couple days to really feel like where I felt with the Green Bay Packers game, where I'm like, you rather have this happen mid-season so you can look at the tape and learn. Sometimes you learn a lot from, losses. Yeah. And hopefully they can bounce back up here, guys. But let's go ahead and move on these games here. We got the Cardinals versus the 49ers. Now, my guy CG did make a video for me, but I apologize. I wasn't able to upload it, but I want to hear it live. And really figure out exactly what happened to the 49ers in your personal opinion. Why do you think that this was more of a, damn, the Cardinals are a lot further up than we thought compared to the first game when it was 17-10? Give us a little bit of your good, bad, and the ugly in terms of what the heck happened for your 49ers, man. What's going on, CG?
I would have expected more of a closer game, but man, was I wrong. I just thought, man, this could have, like they said, you got to watch out for the unknown. And the fact that Colt McCoy played, that was the more concerning factor, because there's no film on them. There's not much film on the guy, because he was a backup with the Giants and barely did anything. So the fact that he played, that kind of gave me a little idea, thinking, oh, hell no. And some of the fans were like saying, why would you think like that? Like, have you seen how there's not film on this guy? He might kill us. And everybody was looking at me and say, you're tripping. There's no Kyler Murray. And I'm like, dude, have you seen how all the backups had played? I wouldn't be surprised. And then the fact that they did that, I was like, wow. And I was watching the performance. Colt McCoy was playing like Aaron Rodgers, bro. And your running back, James Conner, that was Derrick Henry. I swear I thought I saw him out there running like everybody else, trucking people. Like, dude, I'm just embarrassed. We made James Conner look like Derrick Henry out there.
I mean, I appreciate the reference, man. I know that James Conner definitely has kind of had a resurgence of his career, and he's been very, very good with the Arizona Cardinals here so far. He definitely got a big workload ever since Chase Edmonds, which was our 1.5, number one halfback that we had, who ended up going down really early. Benjamin came in to split the carries, and he did a very good job as well. But for me, obviously, I loved everything that we saw here, man. Obviously, I'm happy that the Arizona Cardinals came out with the win. Never would I have thought that we were going to beat you guys 31-17. I thought this was going to be a little bit closer to maybe 31-24 type of game, but this is crazy, especially their very first game being 17-10. I thought it was going to be more of this type of game because, hey, it's in the division. We know each other very well, but I
tried to tell you guys.
Yeah, you did. No, you absolutely did. And we had, CG and we had Steezy trying to get all crazy with the Cardinals, saying that, they're gonna get lost. But hey, the Cardinals did very good. But I want to compare what the Cardinals did to the 49ers to exactly what the Green Bay Packers did to us on primetime Monday night, or our primetime game, Thursday Night Football. It was just the best game plan. They executed it down to the T. Colt McCoy didn't have to become the best quarterback out there. He needed to manage the game, and we ran the ball down their throats, man. James Conner had a fantastic, game. 3 touchdowns, 2 rushing, 1 receiving, and then Benjamin also trucked Dre Kirkpatrick, which is a former Arizona Cardinal. So that was actually pretty exciting to see. So obviously nothing but good vibes here. We're 8-1, and I'm very, very excited to see what the Panthers are going to look like next week. Because if you guys don't know, Sam Darnold is most likely listed as out with a shoulder injury. So just good things ahead for the Arizona Cardinals. Any questions? CG, let's open up the floor right now for everybody.
Why did you guys
a question? All right, Rams. Okay, my bad.
Oh, you're good. You're good. I just wanted to put it out there that I predicted 38-17. So even if you're in there, I was kind of like, if they could put up one more, I'd look real smart here. But
right. Honestly, I was trying to be humble. Obviously, I was going to go with my Arizona Cardinals, but I felt like every time I puffed my chest out, I always got slapped in the face. I was like, let's go into a conservative approach.
I feel that.
CG, like, what was the main factor as to why you really thought your 49ers had it this coming? Was it the win over the Bears?
What was the main reaction of it, man? It's just we're not playing up to our potential, and Shanahan is just getting too slack. And the fact that the defense was not doing their job, like, I'm surprised that this type of defense doesn't play like the way I was expecting it to play. But man, the coverage was terrible. The run defense was god awful, man. Like, what is it to expect? I mean, we haven't won a home game since the COVID. So it's like, dude, it's sad. We have yet to claim back our home field advantage. Like, for the Arizona Cardinals, that was like your home field right there. You took it and stomped on us.
Curbs.
In a way, Yeah, he curb stomped us right there.
There you go. Appreciate it. I know you had a question, right? You had a question for, I think, Ram Showcase. What was your question, CG?
Yes.
You're on mute, CG. FYI. There you go.
So, what were you saying, Brent? Okay, I couldn't hear some reception issue.
My bad. You had a question, I believe. And I think before. What was your question?
Okay, can you show the question?
No, I thought you had a question for Ram Showcase. My bad. Sorry.
Oh, okay, Ram Showcase. Let me ask you something, dude. I know this matchup is pretty much like you guys are going to curb stomp us, and I don't expect nothing less. Even though we've owned you guys the last couple of years, expect it to be a butt whooping, and you're welcome, Ram Showcase, because we don't play worth a Nothing, bro. We don't have nobody that wants to play for this team. Enjoy while you kick our butts, man.
I will. Thank you.
All right. It wasn't really a question, but more of a statement. Okay, well, let's jump into the next week's games. Let's go with the two that obviously you guys have another primetime game coming your way. Got the Rams versus the San Francisco 49ers. Let's go with Joe, man. How do you see this game play out, and give us your prediction?
Yeah, man. So the last 2 years, so 4 games, the 49ers have been able to defeat the Rams. And one of those was with the Nick Mullins-led 49ers offense. And that was just, terrible. It was a bad day for Rams fans for sure. But there's a very specific matchup that has been going on the last 2 years that will not be present in this one. And that is former defensive coordinator Robert Saleh versus Jared Goff. He had just a way of getting to Goff, understanding exactly how to take him out of the game. And now both of those are gone. So we bring in, obviously Matthew Stafford from Jared Goff, who's a night and day difference. And I realize that there's some very strong coaches still for the 49ers, but Saleh just had a way of formulating a game plan that was perfect to stop Jared Goff. And I don't think that that'll be the case this time. Also, if you look at that last game with your Arizona Cardinals and James Conner just absolutely unloading on that defense, I think this could be one of those days for Darrell Henderson, who's currently 7th in the NFL in rushing, to really get it going. He's 7th in the league right now. Hasn't had a 100-yard rushing game since early of last year. I think it was like week 4 of the 2020 season, so it's been a while. But I think that the way that 49ers defense looks right now, I think that he'll be able to get going. I like Stafford against the 49ers, even though they're the fourth in against the pass on defense. So I feel good going into this game. Like I said earlier, I think that the Titans gave us some really good tape to look at, if nothing else. Yeah. And I think that we'll be able to carry that into this game. And that with the way that those last 4 have gone, I think that Sean McVay will not want to lose to Kyle Shanahan, who I think is very much so on the hot seat, something that we talked about before the season even started, and everybody kind of was like, well, you guys don't know what you're talking about. So we're there now, and now that conversation's taking place a little bit, but I think Sean McVay will have this squad ready to take on San Fran on Monday night.
100%, man. All right, CG, we're going to talk about Kyle Shanahan in a bit, but let us know a little bit how you think this game is going to go down. Do you think the best way to defeat your team is to run the ball down their throats?
Yeah, you got to run it down their throats, and you got to be able to have more time of possession, and you got to be able to scheme that quarterback. But the difference with who we're going to face is Stafford's a far better quarterback than Jared Goff, so you're going to have to do a lot better on pressuring him. You're going to have to do a lot of ways to figure out ways to stop Stafford and that offense. But as far as their defense, they've gotten better with acquiring Von Miller. So it's like, Jimmy, you better throw the ball quickly or you're going to get hit. Sorry to say, or maybe I'm hoping for Trey Lance to come out of the bench. I don't know. I sound kind of like hypocritical, but it's at a point where Jimmy needs to take it for the team for once and let Trey play out there. But the matchup I look for into the matchup with the Rams is, can our offense actually play better? Because in order for us to beat the Rams, we got to play better offense or it's going to be a long day. So if that's going to work, we got to run the ball. We got to be able to feature more of Kittle and the other receivers. And if Jimmy starts building his confidence, then we already know what he can do. But the question is, can Sean McVay get over the hump on Kyle Shanahan? Let me ask you that question, Ram Showcase. Can Sean McVay get over the hump on Kyle Shanahan in this matchup?
Yeah, I think so. It's not like he's winless against Kyle Shanahan. You know what I mean? It's just these last 2 years, the 49ers have just had the Rams number, but he's done it before. And I think that this is just a different season. This is a very different 49ers team. I was one of the people coming into the season saying the 49ers are, going to bounce back. They're going to be fine. I think I was wrong. I don't think this team is very good this year. And I think that a big part of that is Shanahan, and honestly the loss of Saleh. I think he brought a lot of energy to that defense.
Yeah, because the new defensive coordinator, it takes some time for these play callers, and I get it. It's frustrating, the growing pains. I get that his scheme's a lot different. The way Saleh brought the defense together, they were playing for their heart out there. But I like that sometimes a little bit of what Ryans does, but he kind of gets too predictable, and it kind of frustrates me a little bit what he's doing. At times, the one thing I do like about Saleh, when it comes to the defense is on third downs. He makes good key stops on third downs when it matters. Look at DeMeco Ryans as a third down defense. It's pretty terrible. We've given up third and long yards, and you guys converted the first down from that last game I was there. And then there was games where a team was like, what is it, like 3rd and 20 or maybe 3rd and whatever, you know? Our defense can't even do nothing, and we get called penalties, and we give up some big plays. I don't know. Our secondary may be solid, but there's been some penalties that we've given up a lot, and that's concerning. If we're going to play the Rams, we got to play discipline. And the fact that the Rams got a lot of good receivers, and the fact that Stafford is a far better quarterback than who we faced the last quarterback, then it's going to prove our true test against the Rams on Monday night.
Also, I just want to mention, you mentioned Von Miller. That's going to be a huge addition. We actually didn't get to see him against the Titans, which I was bummed out about. But I do anticipate a wide receiver move before this week is up by the LA Rams. I don't know who it'll be. I don't know what's going to happen, but I do anticipate some move. Deshaun Jackson leaves, Tutu Atwell hits IR, and also Jacob Harris just hit IR. So I do think a move is coming there.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. I mean, honestly, one thing that I honestly forgot to mention in terms of Cardinals versus 49ers is that the defense, man, forced a lot of turnovers. Was it 2 forced fumbles? And I feel like our defense really, really harassed Jimmy G. And I heard you saying maybe Jimmy G, maybe Trey Lance. I think the gig is up, man. I think it's rebuilding mode for your team right now. And I think any other fan that's going to come out there and say we're going to be in this, wild card goose chase, you're kidding yourselves, because I think you should really plan for the future. I mean, what do you say about that, CG? I think he's a little nervous. He lost reception.
Peaced out. Okay.
Right. He was like, "Oh, this is too much." I'm just kidding. No, but yeah, I mean, we talked about it earlier in the stream, right? I mean, we talked about Kyle Shanahan. Is he on the hot seat? Is he not? Cliff Kingsbury might have been in the hot seat as well, but obviously, 8-1, we can no longer talk about that. Yeah. Kyle Shanahan is now the guy that, yes, he has an extension. Yes, he has more of a contract type of year, but at the bottom line, if he ain't getting the job done, get the man out. Get somebody that's going to be able to use Trey Lance appropriately.
He's had so the thing that I saw it was about McVay and Shanahan, because they got hired the same year to take over what was like rebuilding teams. And, Sean McVay hasn't had a losing season. He's had 3 playoff berths, obviously went and lost the Super Bowl. The 49ers have had 1 winning season under Shanahan, and then that was it. They made their playoff run. They lost the Super Bowl, and that's all he's done. That's what Shanahan's done for the Niners. So I think it's 100% reasonable to say that he is on the hot seat and may not make it through this offseason, because it's not looking great for him. And he's got a career losing record as a head coach.
100%.
Look at that stuff.
It's so crazy. I completely agree, man. Let me give a big shout out to my guy Adrian. Says 49ers versus the Rams sounds like a trap game. What do you say to that, Joe?
I mean, I disagree based on the simple definition of a trap game. The Rams go into a bye week after this, and then it's the Green Bay Packers. So I guess you could say for that, but I wouldn't say that the 49ers or any division game can really be a trap game, honestly, because they do know each other so well. But so I ultimately, I do disagree. I do think that there's obviously the chance that the 49ers win this game, even though the Rams are the better football team. There is that chance that the 49ers pull away with the win, and you can't be shocked with that, especially if you look at the last couple of years between these two teams. So I wouldn't consider it a trap game, but I think the 49ers can win this one.
Yeah, that's fair. CG, I'm not sure if you heard me a little earlier. Welcome back, by the way. Did you hear anything that I was saying?
No, something happened with the reception. I had to get back in somewhere. But what were you saying?
Oh, my bad. So, I was hearing what you were saying about the 49ers versus the Rams game that's going to be coming up for you. And I was hearing you say, Jimmy G or, Trey Lance. But I think at the end of the day, I think the gig is up. I mean, I think it's rebuilding time for the San Francisco 49ers. What do you say for that?
Yeah, if it's pretty much like the record says itself. If you're 3-5 and you're losing your 3 division games and you're behind the 8 ball, there's no chance we're going to get into the 7th seed. And the expectation with Jimmy Garoppolo is if he was going to be 5-3, that's understandable. But we're talking 3-5, and that's not good enough, man. You got to do better than that. And the fact that we're going to play the Rams are going to be pissed off. They're going to come with a different mindset. They're going to come to Levi Stadium and punch us in the mouth. And it's just kind of gut-wrenching to say it, but it could be a trap game in some ways, but it's a division game. So we have familiarity. So I wouldn't say it. It's more like, hey, I know you. You're from Southern California. We know you guys. We know you down there. You know us from Northern California. Hey, we're coming over here. That kind of type of greeting way. But when I look at the matchup and when I look at the way Kyle Shanahan has success against McVay, he's always been able to out-scheme McVay in certain ways. But as a coach for Shanahan, he has not evolved. Like, I hate these excuses of the injuries. Like, this year, it's not even as bad as everybody thinks it is. Like, it's not like we had 21 injuries last year. We're talking maybe about 6 players on IR or maybe 7 or something like that. It's not even that bad. But they want to make excuses for Jimmy and Kyle. I'm sick of it. You got to get better. It's either you evolve as a head coach or you need to step away from play calling and be a head coach. Come on, Kyle.
Yeah. Oh, I like it, man. Honestly, I like the – what's up?
We keep on, like, the whole – storyline is that Shanahan's just had McVay's number. And yes, that is true. He has won against McVay more than he's lost, but the Rams are 3-5 against the 49ers the last 8. So I don't know. I don't necessarily buy that a whole lot. I don't buy that storyline to the end, I guess. It's just these last couple of years. But if you look before that, I mean, it's been a little bit different. So I just want to add that in.
I love when the chat, I think a lot of people in the chat are talking about CG in terms of like quoting him and stuff like that. So it's cool, man. You're getting quotes on you already, man. That's amazing. But yeah, let's move on to the next game and then we'll open up for questions here in the chat and all that different stuff. Obviously, the game that we have looking forward in terms of Cardinals is going to be against the Carolina Panthers. Now, there's a question here. Is Steezy coming? Steezy had a bye week, and he ended up going to Hawaii, apparently. So he will be back next week, ladies and gentlemen. So if you want to hear some Seahawks talk, unfortunately, he needs to wait till next week before we're able to kind of hammer him and talk about how bad his Seahawks are. But let's talk some Cardinals versus Panthers. This game, last year, we saw this game on the schedule, and we thought this was going to be an easy game. And then we got ran over, man. Teddy Bridgewater did a number on us, and that was a game that we should have won. And we ended up losing. But I do think this is a different team, a different Cardinals team coming off, beating the San Francisco 49ers, losing to the Green Bay Packers. We have a different mentality. We're going to come in here and hopefully put our best foot forward. I'm not going to say a beatdown. Hopefully I wish it, but I definitely do think the Arizona Cardinals are going to stack up very well. I'm not going to disrespect the defense over there. I think they have a very good defense when it comes to the Carolina Panthers. They put some pieces together. It's just their offense, their quarterback situation right after Cam Newton. There might not be a lot of people that admit it in Carolina, but that might have been one of your last good quarterbacks that ended up going away, because after that, it's been kind of no land. So I can definitely see the Cardinals pulling off the win. If you guys haven't heard, I think Sam Darnold has been listed as out already with a shoulder injury. So I can see the Cardinals definitely taking this win 35-21.
Who's the quarterback? Who's the backup quarterback?
That's a great question. That's a very good question. Let me find out right now. Carolina Panthers. Honestly, it's gotten that bad, right? We don't even know who the dang freaking...
I like trying to think about it. I can usually think of them. Like, I usually know them, but I'm
hearing that they signed Matt Barkley. I don't know if that's the guy. They just signed him.
Oh, PJ Walker.
Oh.
PJ Walker. That's who it is. But yeah, they might have signed Barkley, because I think that his shoulder is a lot worse than just one week. He might be out for several weeks, so that's probably why they ended up signing Barkley over. But I think we're going to see a good dosage of PJ Walker. All right, Joe, how do you think
what happened? It's my job that's dark outside. That's why you guys can't see me. And plus my team's in the dark hours. So you guys got to understand, when you're in the bottom, you got to see the dark.
Right.
Yeah, when the 49ers win, we'll be able to get some light on.
Exactly. The next time 49ers win, we'll start seeing CG's face more and more. Let's move on to Joe. How do you think this Cardinals and Panthers game is going to shake out?
I think that despite the absolutely ridiculous sideline attire by Kyler Murray, if he can come back in this one, then, obviously that's a huge plus, but it's not like Colt McCoy played poorly. Those Panthers, they're a hard team to predict. They're so difficult to understand who the Panthers really are. So, yeah, I like that comment. Exactly. You got to pull out your binoculars for the bottom of the NFC West. But they're a very difficult team to predict. I'm kind of curious to see what somebody like McCaffrey can do coming back still. So I think that the Cardinals will win this game. I think it'll be a very tight game, but I'm going to go ahead and give it to the Cardinals 27-24. I just think it'll be really tight. But PJ Walker, I remember obviously watching him in the AAF. That was like a really fun league. I was actually wearing my San Diego Fleet shirt just yesterday. Nice. But yeah, I think it'll be a tight game, but I do anticipate that the Cardinals can come out that one with a win.
Awesome. Cool. CG, what do you think? Cardinals, Panthers. What you got?
I think Arizona's going to win this one. I think it's not going to be – I think the Carolina Panthers might play a solid game, but it's not going to be exactly like the way you would expect it to be. But I think you guys are going to win by at least 2 touchdowns. I got you guys winning, let's say, 28-14 Cardinals. I think you guys will get it done. And the Panthers defense, they're no slouch, but I think you guys are going to capitalize.
We're all going Rams, right?
Yeah, we're all going Rams and we're all going Cardinals. So let's do this. Let's pick the 49. Let's pick the Seahawks game here. Let me get to these super chats real quick. I got my guy Adrian with another super chat. Says Cam Newton should play this game. 2015 revenge.
That'd be dope.
Yeah, that would be actually pretty cool. Honestly, that still haunts me to the day. We went to the NFC West, NFC Conference Championship, and we got crumbled, and it was very sad to see. Elon Musk coming out with another super chat. Maybe we are just better. Kyler needs more bling.
He looked obnoxious on the sideline. I don't know. It was partially the jacket. It was partially the hair. It was partially the I was like, dude, come on, man. What are you doing?
The hate is starting already. I mean, it's all good. It's all good. Let's see who we have. Who's Seahawks playing this week?
Green Bay.
Green Bay. That's right. Maybe Aaron Rodgers led Green Bay. So who wants to start off with Seahawks?
I'll start with this one. That's going to be an interesting one. I'm not actually sure if Rodgers is going to play in this one. I'm not as critical on Jordan Love as other people are, though. I think that he was put in a real rough situation. You put him on the road in Kansas City. I realize that the Chiefs are not that good right now, but that's a very difficult environment to play in. And also, if you looked at the play calling that they were doing, it was just kind of bad. Like they weren't really helping him out at all. So I do not think he's great, of course, but I don't think that game was a good example to really show that. And I think that game honestly says a lot more about the Chiefs than it does the Packers, that they were struggling mightily at home against a backup quarterback who's making his first start. I think that was rough. So Green Bay coming in to play the Seattle Seahawks. I think that the Seahawks can win. Russ comes back, so I'm interested to see if there's any rust on Russ, but I don't know. I have a hard time going with the Packers right now, so I'm going to go Seattle, but not confidently.
That's fair. I'll go next, and then we'll go CG next. Yeah, that's true, man. I'm not sure exactly what Russell Wilson's going to bring to the table after his finger injury that he ended up having, but I'm gonna go with Green Bay. The reason for that is because I agree with what you're saying about Jordan Love. Yeah, it's kind of a sucky situation that they put him into, but man, they really didn't capitalize in using Aaron Jones or as much as they possibly could have or should have, because the Kansas City Chiefs, man, they have been exposed. Patrick Mahomes, I'm not sure if it's all 100% on him, but he is playing absolutely terribly. And it's so crazy that it was just a 1-score game. So I guess kudos for them for holding up a backup quarterback that doesn't have a lot of reps with the first team reps. But on this game, I know Steezy's going to want me to go Seahawks, but I can't do it. I'm going to go Green Bay Packers because they did end up losing to the Kansas City Chiefs. I say Green Bay wins 38-31. 38-31.
Tight one.
CG, what you got in this game?
Okay, well, for the score prediction, I know that Russell Wilson's going to probably come with rust a little bit, so I think it's going to come into a slow start, but I do have the Green Bay Packers winning by at least 10 points. So the fact that Aaron Rodgers will come back will make a huge difference, and it kind of like gets the offense back on track. No offense to Jordan Love. He'll be a work in progress, but the Packers should be able to beat the Seahawks 20 at least. I mean,
we don't know if Rodgers is playing or not.
True.
Oh, whether Rodgers or okay, so if Jordan Love plays, it's a different case scenario. But I do still got the Packers beating them for some reason because Jordan Love might put up some good numbers, like the secondary, Seattle secondary. You can get 300 yards off of them. So Jordan Love might even look like Aaron Rodgers out there. So who knows?
I'm going to go ahead, by the way, guys. I'm just going to fill in Steezy's picks. I'm going to go with Green Bay, San Fran, and Carolina.
There you go. Love it. Love it. And that's his fault for not being here.
Yeah.
Hey, man, I got my guy, 49ers Ultimate Report. Your guy, John J, says, CG, I can't see you, man. Where are you?
Well, you can't see me because I'm the Undertaker, man. The dark, man. The team of the darkness, man. The job is so dark. It's hard for me to find any light out here. But to answer your question, John Jay, to be a 49er fan, we're going through the dark times, buddy. So that's what we are doing right now.
Metaphor.
Yep, basement. Yep.
Right at the bottom of the basement. What are you going to say something, Joe?
No, they're just sitting in the crawl space, man. That's why it's so dark. But we got some good games this week, guys. I'm excited for these ones.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be good for sure. We definitely have, Seahawks coming back. I'm excited to see what Russell Wilson is going to do, man. His first game coming back is, finger injury. And this guy was the Iron Man. And he missed some games. And that's what the Seahawks are holding their hat on, that they're going to be able to come out and hopefully make a playoff push.
That game against the Jags, that was the one that kind of impressed me, man. The way that they beat the Jags. It's not just beating the Jags. Most people could do that unless you're the Bills or something. But it's by the way, I just want to throw this in there. On such a ridiculous week of underdogs winning and the upsets and everything, of course that the big upset week would see the Detroit Lions on a bye week.
Right, they can't catch a break
to do it and pull off it and be part of the upset week, and they're on a bye, so they couldn't.
That is funny. I honestly didn't even think of that, but I feel bad for the Detroit Lions, man. Those
Lions, man. It's Lions.
Yeah. Sucks. Let's take it to the comments, see what you guys have to say. Give me one say. Somebody says, I don't think Rodgers is gonna play. Yeah, I think my pick's gonna depend if Rodgers does play, but I'll stick with it. We have somebody who says, I was born in the darkness. Kind of reminds me of Bane. Oh, CG, man. How do you think Kyle Shanahan is your boy, man? I know he's under contract, but do you think he's gonna be out this year, man? Let's say, for example, you don't win any other game, or let's say you win 2 more games this year. You have a 5-win team. Do you think you're going to beat Kyle Shanahan coming back?
To answer your question, man, Shanahan is pretty much guaranteed another year or 2 to be under the hot seat, man. There's nothing going on. He's already secured a contract. I know a lot of people be saying, well, contracts don't mean nothing, but he's got control of the team. There's no pressure. There's nothing in the front office. There's nothing with the ownership. So they're confident with Kyle Shanahan. Even if we win 2 more games, it's kind of like, I don't know why. They should start to consider putting him on the hot seat right now. I mean, I think the way he's been play calling, it's questionable. He hasn't evolved. Like, are you sticking with the same old thing? And then the defense are starting to figure out how to stop Jimmy. Stack the box, stop the running game, force him to throw the ball 50-plus times or 40 whatever times, and he's not going to do much. He's going to throw picks. He's going to hold on to the ball. He's going to get hurt. That's how you expose a quarterback. So Shanahan needs to switch up his quarterback and evolve the offense to newer heights, something better, but he's not doing it. He's too ignorant. He's too stubborn. He thinks he knows what he's doing, and he doesn't like to admit when he's wrong. Look at Sean McVay. McVay will know when he's wrong, and he'll cut his losses. I don't see that with Shanahan. At least McVay's more aggressive. At least he's willing to do whatever it takes to win. Ooh, who cares about cap space? If you want to win and get to the Super Bowl, that's all I care about.
Yeah.
So, look at the Broncos. They won a Super Bowl by doing those kind of moves. I can live with that. But living with this type of results is unacceptable.
I do disagree with one comment you had there, CG, that there's nothing in the front office or anything, because I would argue that John Lynch has played a big role in the way that team is built, which is a very strong roster despite how poorly it's coached right now.
Yeah, a lot of the coaching changes because some of them were left Okay, Robert Salo left to the Jets, and then you had quite a few other assistant coaches. A lot of this coaching changes makes it hard to certain players, but they're not getting well coached. They're not stepping up to the plate. A lot of our players, they have the talent, but they're not producing, and I don't know what Shanahan's doing right now. So it's like this guy's lost touch, or he just doesn't know what he's doing, dude. He's more of a play caller than a head coach, and he doesn't even stick with head coach. Like, why just let Mike McDaniels do the play calls for once?
All right, we'll see. We got some questions here on the comments here. We have Stafford or Kyler Murray for MVP. Obviously, I think let's start off with Joe, or let's go with CG, so it's unbiased. Let's do that, because obviously you're gonna ask AZ, you're gonna say Kyler, you're gonna say obviously Stafford over there. CG, who do you think, man? That's your question for you.
Okay, who's for MVP? Man, that's a tough one, but I got to say Kyler's playing at a high level, and Kyler's actually lighting up at a certain level. But then Stafford, man, you give him these type of weapons, man, that's a very good question. I'm going to have to lean towards Kyler Murray, just because he's already putting up numbers. Even if he misses that one game, which he just did, but it's still not going to affect his status. Stafford's probably making a good, strong argument, but I got to go with Kyler Murray because you got a guy who's mobile. You get a guy who can extend plays. It's like this is like exactly what Russell Wilson wanted to be as the MVP. Maybe Kyler Murray could be the MVP of this season.
He definitely will. I foresee the future already. But let's talk a little bit about the Rams, man. I think a lot of us had our eyes on Rams versus the Titans. And I know kind of the way that you took it after that was kind of how I took it after the Green Bay Packers. You know, we rather this happen this time around. We can learn from this type of stuff. But one of the frustrating things, if I was a Rams fan, and I'm not sure if there's a lot of Rams fans on the comments here below, but how frustrating is it that it almost kind of seems like Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford this team is completely solely on Matthew Stafford. Let's play hero ball. Let's not run the ball when you're on the 4-yard line. Obviously, I have a lot of hate because I have Darrell Henderson on my fantasy football league, and he didn't run the ball in the freaking touchdown. How do you feel about that, man? How frustrating is that?
It is frustrating sometimes, and we've heard so many times in post-game press conferences from Sean McVay of, I got to do a better job of balance and stuff like that. And then he keeps doing it. So, like, we actually need to see that happen. We have a good running game. Like, Darrell Henderson is 7th in the NFL right now in rushing yards. He's doing fine. He's doing a good job. He averaged 5 yards a carry in this last game, but only got 11 carries. So, in order for it to be Matthew Stafford's team and really just take off of that pressure of Stafford, we need to try to run the football more, because to get that balance going, and when you're I don't want to say star, I think that Darrell Henderson is a very good running back, but most are in the NFL today. I think that it's just one of those situations where, I mean, where is the balance? So you gotta be able to do that. And I want to stop hearing, I gotta do a better job of X. Just do it. You know what I mean? Like, there's only so many times we can hear that before we start feeling like it's Jeff Fisher talking to us, where he started, like, every single week it was some kind of excuse, and then every single week, the next week, it would be the same stuff again. So I'm definitely not going to put them in the same in the same boat. Sean McVay is a much better head coach than Jeff Fisher, but I just let's just see it, man. Balance it out a little bit more. We need to see the ground game going.
Jeff Fisher, man, I always remember him of, like, I think he was like it was a Hard Knocks, or it was another one of those shows, and it was like, I know what I'm doing. I still remember that quote. And
that was the whole thing. Yeah, the whole 7 to 9 BS, and it was like he said that, and I was like, oh my God, what is he do? Like, it's like he just set us up for so many memes this year.
It's so bad. All right, yeah,
my birthday is July 9th, which is 7/9, and so I don't even get happy birthdays. I just get my whole entire timeline is flooded with Happy Jeff Fisher Day.
Oh, nice. Oh,
man.
dang. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
What do you think about this, man? It seems like Noah McVay is just trying to pad stats for Matthew Stafford.
I don't think he's trying to pad stats for Stafford. I think what he's doing is he's just excited that he doesn't have Jared Goff at quarterback anymore. I think he's just testing out his new fancy toy. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I don't think it's anything about him trying to get Stafford MVP or get him stats or anything like that. I think that he believes that Stafford can make all of those plays, so he just lets him try.
Yeah, no, that's definitely fair, man. Awesome. Any other questions? CG, you have a question. Joe, you have a question.
How many games are these Cardinals going to win?
Okay, let's get with Joe because I think it's a Cardinals question. So let's go with it.
I want to know what you think of how many games do you think that this Cardinals team loses for the rest of the season? I mean, we're coming in right now, week 10 at 8-1. There are still some tough games to go for sure, but we've seen these Cardinals take on tough games and come away with wins. But we've also seen, obviously, the loss to the Green Bay Packers. Do you see any games like that coming up that maybe the Cardinals will just have one of those days again, or some teams you think are just
looking at the remaining of the schedule? Yeah, so we got obviously we got another Rams, we got 2 Seahawks, and then we got a few like the Cowboys. The Colts are kind of intriguing here and there, but there's not really any other teams that I'm like, oh my God, I'm really worried. Like literally, I'm gonna keep it to the NFC West. Those ones are the games that I'm like, you never know. You absolutely never know what's going to happen here. In the beginning of the season, I thought we were going to be a 10-win team, and I was like, let's sneak our way into the playoffs. Let's get this going. But hey, we're two wins away from becoming that 10-win type of team. So I could honestly see, like, if we were to lose any games, and I'm just going to give respect to the division because, like I always say, it's always a very, very tough, fight between our division. We might lose one to the Seahawks, and we might lose one to the Rams. Might. So I can very well see that the Arizona Cardinals can win 14, 15 games this year.
That makes sense. That's like, if your original prediction comes correct, I will be thrilled about it if they can just pull off 10. It would be a pretty dramatic meltdown for the rest of the season, but I would be thrilled about it because it was like seeing that the Cardinals lost a game, and it was like, oh, cool, now we're right in line with them. And then of course we lose to the Tennessee Titans in prime time. And it was like, dang it, now we got to just do it ourselves. It's like we were right there. I felt like if we could have been the 2 8-1 teams in the entire NFL coming into this week, that would have led for like a really sweet stretch of this last bit of the season. But we're still right there. But
yeah, I mean, just like my guy here, Adrian, saying, I feel like the Cardinals will split with the Rams and the Hawks, and honestly, it's not a bad thing, honestly. So that would put us at 4-3, I believe, right? No, 4. Wait, how many games do we get? 2. That's 6 games. So we swept the 49ers. That's 2. So 4 and 2 on the season. So honestly, that's not bad. In terms of being in the division there. So I wouldn't be mad at it. I would rather the losses come there because we know each other very well. Obviously, I want to beat you guys, but this team is very, very good, man.
I want to see you make one of those friggin' videos, man.
You really do, man. You really do. Big shout out to my guy here, 49ers Ultimate Report with a $10 donation. Appreciate you, man. He says, the Yorks are the worst owner. That's the 49ers owners. He says, you left San Francisco and hired your hockey trainer to players' wellness, and you hire Lynch as a GM that signed free agents and draft players with injury history, and Kyle thinks he is the owner. CG, what you got on this, man?
Well, it seems like the same logic. Like, it seems like Trent Baalke is still out there for some reason because we still keep going with these injury-prone guys. Like, I don't know why. Like, dude, we got to stop going with these players. Like, oh, if they're healthy, it's a high reward. I don't want that no more. I want a guy who could stay on the field and play consistently. Like, I don't want a guy who was injured in college. I don't want a guy who was injured from another team that was on injured reserve. That's like me signing a player from the Rams who happened to get on IR last year. Why would I want to sign him?
First of all, there's a 100% chance of injury, CG. You're not going to get guys with 0 injury history, man. Let that go. Let that go.
But we could definitely all agree that the 49ers, there's something in the water over there, man. These last 2 years have been terrible for the 49ers. I feel like every single running back that they brought in hurt. Running back hurt. It's like it's just crazy to see what's going on over there right now. But I know, CG, you had a question before Joe's question. Do you remember by any chance?
Yeah, you know what, AZ, man? I know this sounds like an interesting question, man, but can you guys actually sweep the division?
Oh, I want to see what we look like against the Seattle Seahawks first. That's what I want to see first, because I really don't know what they are against our team, because what we usually do, even though we suck, we somehow always take one from the 49ers and we take one from the Seahawks, usually, even when we suck. We've always had this. We had this long thing with the Rams beating us, 8-0. So I don't know. Obviously, I would love it. We got 3 more division games. We got 2 from the Seahawks. Got 1 from the Rams coming on. So yeah, I would love to sweep, but I mean, I'm not gonna puff my chest out too much because the Rams, they're a very good team. And although I hate to admit it because they're LA and I don't like any LA teams, but they're a very good team.
If you guys sweep the NFC West, you almost deserve the Super Bowl. Like that's a tough.
Pretty much, yeah. If you do that, man, you might as well just be the legit contenders and go against the Bills or whoever the team is out there. Like the Chiefs are falling off too, so it's like crazy.
100%.
Titans, man. Titans are no joke.
Yeah, I think
the Ravens, man. Like, look at it this way: Lamar got over the hump a couple years back, right? And he started getting the flow. Maybe Baltimore is a scary team in the AFC that nobody's talking about.
Maybe, definitely, man. They're good.
Yeah, honestly, I
you already didn't do that, Elon Musk. What are you talking about?
We will sweep the whole NFL, not just the division. I love the.
Hey, I'm getting the hype on your fan base.
You really are, man. You got everybody talking about bringing the brooms out here, man. I did have a question. I know like a lot of people don't really like talking about OBJ, but obviously that's kind of a big story that came around. He got released by the Browns. There's rumors out there saying that the Seahawks might have their other peepers on OBJ. Have you guys heard anything from the Rams or the 49ers? Obviously the Cardinals, we have no interest in OBJ. We don't want to touch him with the 6-foot pole. What about you, Joe?
I've just heard Packers. I've heard that he's interested in the Packers. That's all I've heard. But honestly, there is something about this LA Rams team that, like, it is possible. It is 100% a possibility that the Rams reach out to Odell and make a move. It wouldn't shock me at all. But also with Odell specifically, if you watch him when he was with the Giants, when Coughlin was running the show, he was awesome. He was an incredible player. Coughlin leaves, and then the maturity in the building left with Coughlin, and then you started to see OBJ struggle. And then he goes over to Cleveland, historically known as a not great run franchise. I think that they've got some good pieces in place right now. I like their president. I like their head coach. You know, they're doing very positive things up there, but they're still not there yet. Dysfunctional front office, quarterback question marks and stuff like that. And OBJ was not performing well. I think that if he goes to a team that is run well, he's going to thrive again. He's going to look awesome. So if he came to the Rams, I'd be pumped about it. I'm excited if that is something that happens, but I kind of just get the feeling he's going to Green Bay.
Yeah, I agree. CG, man, what you got, man? I know you probably don't want him. You guys have your own problems. So what do you guys think about Odell?
Well, there's been rumors about that he can go to us, but the chances of that happening is it's not going to happen. And the front office that we got, they don't really go for anybody. Like, even though he's available, you can sign him for a reasonable contract, because at first, if you would have claimed him off the waivers, you would have to pay $7.2 million in cap space. But since he's a free agent, you can sign him less than that right now. Mm-hmm. And I don't see it happening personally, but if I had to choose realistically which team Odell would go to, I'm hearing Packers are like in the front runners. But if I had to be honest, what team he would fit better with, as much as I hate to say it, but man, he would probably do better for the Raiders. I think he would give them more of a presence, but then I want to see that drama. I want to see that Las Vegas drama fall to the ground. Let him go to the Raiders so he can ruin that culture over there.
Well, they went with Deshaun Jackson, so they just brought him in to replace that Ruggs role of the speed guy. With kind of totally lost my train of thought there, man. I had it. I promise I had it. It was OBJ. Talking about OBJ. Oh yeah, with the 49ers. I don't see that happening because I think that a big thing for OBJ this year is he wants to go to the playoffs this year, and he's going to be looking at teams that are riding the thick of the playoff race. I don't think he's going to be looking, for lack of a better term, a team that's likely not. I mean, that's not that rude, I guess. I was covering my base.
And plus, he doesn't get along with Josh Norman too, so that's not going to bode well.
Oh, that's true. I forgot about Josh Norman.
Yeah, that's exactly why. Like the Rams, some Rams fans have brought up Golden Tate. It's like, dude, we got Jalen Ramsey. We are not signing Golden Tate.
Yeah,
like there's no way. That locker room would not go well. Like,
right.
Yeah, similar situation.
Yeah, that's. I'm sorry. What's up?
No, sorry. Good.
And OBJ's ain't gonna do blocking, bro. He ain't gonna be a willing blocker. He wants the ball, dude. So how's that gonna work with our offense? So I don't think he'll pan out there because he'll want targets. He'll want opportunities because most of our receivers are asked to block. We run the ball.
Popped, man, this last week. He's been struggling this season, but he popped this week.
Yeah, that's the difference of this offense. Like it could either be Debo being the main guy, or sometimes it could be Ayuk. But most of the time, we ask our other receivers to block a lot of the time. So that's not going to be something for Odell to fit well with.
Yeah, I think the contending team is probably going to be the route he wants to take. And obviously, here at the Cardinals, I think we're good and we're settled with Green, Hop, and Christian Kirk and Rondale Moore. So guys, we think we peaked at like 137 people in here right now. That's absolutely amazing. So I appreciate everybody for being here right now. If this is your first time on here, we do this every single Tuesday. Right now we're kind of alternating between Ram Showcases channel and myself as well. So if you guys are interested and you guys love this communication back and forth with the NFC West roundtable, we appreciate you guys coming here every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Pacific time, I believe, right, CG? I know. We don't change. What's your time over there right now, CG?
We change.
You change.
Yeah.
Oh, it's 6:08 right now.
Okay, samesies. No, it's 7:08 with me. Wait, what time is it with you, Joe?
I'm 7:08.
Oh, snap. Oh, dang. Okay, so I'm on your time zone now. See, Arizona's freaking weird, man.
Yeah.
We don't play any of that.
That's why you ruined my break with this time, man. You did like an hour early for me, and I was like, "Whoa, what?
What are you doing?" All right, man.
Yeah,
All right, guys. That's how.
Get ready.
All right, guys. I appreciate everybody for next week. We will have Steezy come back on, and then we can talk all the smack in the world about the Seahawks, guys. But I appreciate everybody for coming through. As always, have a great rest of your day, everybody. That's how we're going to conclude our NFC West roundtable. And as always,